I'm Ingvild Kolnes, and this is episode 31 of Sustainable Photography. Today, we're talking about how you can get more things done. You're listening to Sustainable Photography, where you get support and education to build your profitable business in a way that supports your way of living. I'm Ingvild Kolnes, and after 11 years as a photographer, I want to share what I've learned with you. So if you're looking for confidence, inspiration, and to-the-point tips, keep listening. For full transparency, I also want you to know that I'm a mentor with paid offers, and I might mention some of those in this episode. What do you think about when I say the word productivity? Are you thinking about how you're spending your time, or what you're actually getting done? I don't know about you, but I often find myself thinking that I don't have the time to post on Instagram. Yeah, at the same time, I get one of those notifications saying that I've spent over my limit of 40 minutes on Instagram that day. So clearly I have the time, I'm just using it wrong. The truth is that you use the time you have. Sometimes giving yourself less time might be the answer. Setting deadlines and dividing up the tasks that you have in mind is usually a good idea. So here's an example of how you can set yourself up for success when it comes to getting stuff done. Because it's not a matter of just doing things. You want to make sure that you're doing the right things. I cover this in detail in my paid program, but I'm just going to give you an outline here. So you start by figuring out what you actually want. What's going to make the biggest difference for you this year? Let's say that you want to book 10 high-end clients. Then write down all the ideas that's going to push you in the right direction. When you're planning out your year or month or week or day, whatever it is you like to do, make sure that you prioritize doing the things that's actually going to get you there. There's no point filling your calendar with stuff that's just keeping you busy and not actually getting you to where you want to be. So yeah, let's just start there. I also recommend that you divide up your tasks into tiny pieces. And I'm going to use a recent happening here as an example. So I bought new camera gear in the beginning of 2020. Great timing. And I never actually got around to selling my old stuff because it's just such a hassle. So it's just been sitting there for over 2 years. But then I decided it was time to get rid of it. So when you're selling something, for example, there's more to it than just selling it. You have to do a lot of different things. So for me, it was gathering all the stuff together, find all the boxes, check what prices similar things had, and decide what I wanted to charge. Take photos of the stuff, actually get them posted. I split it up so each task was for itself. And what happened was, in a week, I had pretty much everything sold. Not just posted, but sold, because I actually got it done. It wasn't one big vague task on my to-do list that said sell stuff. It was so specific and so small. So even if I only had a few minutes to spare, I could get it done. And that was without it getting in the way of other things that I had to do. So in 1 week, all that old gear disappeared. And in doing that, it just freed up so much mental and physical space. I've got tons of other examples for you if you want to know more about dividing up tasks and how much that might help. I actually do the same thing when it comes to blog posts and podcast episodes. I never sit down with the intention to publish a blog post or an episode from scratch. I start by writing a list of all the topics that I can imagine being helpful for my readers or listeners. Then I prioritize them and I create a schedule. Let's say I've decided on the next 5 posts or episodes. The first task would be to do some research on the topics. And then I'd want to do an outline of the post. Next would be to write a rough draft of the blog post, then proofreading it, and then adding it to my blog platform. I would probably want to rename photos if I was adding photos to it, then adding the photos, and then finally scheduling it out. So those are all separate tasks, and I do them in bulk, and not one and then another one. So that means I research 5 episodes, then I outline 5 episodes, fill in. Okay, so you get it. You're just so much more productive when you do one kind of a task at a time instead of switching between different tasks. That's why writing and scheduling one blog post in one go will take a lot longer than if you do all the research at one time and then all the writing at one time, etc. You should also figure out which other things that can give you a little bit of a boost. Is it getting dressed in nice clothes, exercising, eating well? Do you work better in the morning or in the evening? Check in with yourself and do what works for you and not what someone tells you is better. Your main task is to set yourself up for success. If you always find yourself with too many unfinished things on your list, figure out why. Is it because you don't have enough time? Are the tasks too hard? Do you not like doing them, so you procrastinate? What is it? Often, you should actually have fewer and smaller things on your to-do list so that you actually finish them. And if you find a pattern in the things that you don't do, that's really a clear sign to either stop doing them or to find a way to outsource or automate them. Learning how to get better at it can also help, but I want you to be careful so that you're not adding more things onto your plate than you should. Often getting help is better than to spend time to get better at it. Outsourcing can also help you to free up your time so that you can focus on the things that you're the best at. Maybe you spend way too long editing, or maybe your bookkeeping is making you frustrated. Please just get help. If you're dead set on figuring things out on your own, rather than paying someone to teach you and help you out, you're probably wasting so much time. And of course, also you're losing out on money that you could be making. I know we're all different, but I can say that I wouldn't get anything done if I didn't plan out my day. I have to have my to-do list ready to work off of when I start my day, and preferably in a prioritized list so I know what to begin with. If I don't have this, I'll end up being a bit lost and I'm likely not to get much done. Also, I don't know if you know this, but there's such a thing as decision fatigue, meaning that you can actually use up the amount of decisions that you're able to make in a day. That's why deciding what to have for dinner in the afternoon can be such a pain. So if you create your plans ahead of time, that's going to make things so much easier. Okay, so to sum it up, 1, figure out what you really want. 2, plan out your year, your month, your week, and your day. 3, divide your tasks up into tiny, tiny pieces. 4, find out what you can automate or outsource. And 5, just go do it. Talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to Sustainable Photography. Head over to Instagram at Ingvild Kolnes to tell me what you want future episodes to be all about. Check out the show notes over at ingvildkolnes.com/podcast. You can learn more about the Sustainable Photography program and sign up for the waitlist there. To get more of this content, make sure you subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your support makes all the difference. Talk soon.